I am heartily devoted to making my life more simple. And a way that I do that is by doing blender meals. This is a meal that you can make for breakfast or just snack time. And it's pretty much mostly done using a blender. Of course, there's some other things you're gonna use, such as a cast iron skillet, which is my personal favorite tool in the kitchen. But a good blender is exactly what you need. You could also use a food processor. You're just looking for something that is going to blend ingredients. So I hope you guys enjoy this. These we've been enjoying for breakfast for the past little bit, and it is absolutely delicious. And we have some gluten-free options here too. So these are some gluten-free banana chocolate pancakes. You're gonna do 1 or 2 bananas, more is better. 2 eggs, 1 2/3 cup of gluten-free oats. If you're not gluten-free, just use regular oats. 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons of sugar. You can use maple syrup if you like. 1/3 cup of milk. I'm using, I believe, oat milk here, but you can use regular, and a couple tablespoons of cocoa. I'm doing just over 1 tablespoon here, but I always recommend do more if you can. I have some kids that are just not crazy about a heavy cocoa flavor, so I'm lightening that up a little bit and letting that banana flavor shine through. You can blend this on high for about a minute. You want it to be quite creamy. You want the oats to be well broken down so your pancake is not gritty, and you can get started. I like these pancakes to be quite thick because they yield a more dense pancake, which I really enjoy, and so do my kids. But if you want, add in some more milk, some more bananas even. It's going to thin it out and also give you a few more pancakes. I'm just putting it onto my cast iron frying pan with a little bit of butter. This yields about 4 large pancakes. Again, if you want more, just go ahead. You can water it down with some milk, some banana. And then I have some of my kids here that are helping me slice up some strawberries and bananas that are gonna go on top. So even though I call these blender breakfasts, it's not that everything in this blender is going to fulfill all of our breakfast needs. A lot of the time, kids are wanting fruit on the side, or maybe some bacon or sausage or local yogurt, something like that. So these are meant to either serve as a full meal maybe, but I do recommend pair it with some other things so you get some full body nourishment here and very full bellies. We're gonna move on to a Dutch baby pancake. These are really good, easy to do. You're just gonna need 7 eggs at room temperature, 3 1/4 cup of milk at room temperature. This is gonna help your Dutch baby get nice and fluffy. 3 1/4 cup of flour, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. All this is gonna go into your blender on a bit of a medium speed. I overblended mine, I always do. It will affect your puffiness if you overblend it, but we still end up with those beautiful curled edges on the side of our pancake. So you're gonna heat up your cast iron on like a medium heat, really coat the entire thing with lots of butter, and pour your batter into it. You're going to bake it in your oven at 425 for 20 to 25 minutes. And if you peek my clock, you can see I'm actually getting closer to lunchtime here. A lot of these we will also use for lunch, these recipes, but blender lunch just doesn't sound as good as blender breakfast. So, and it's something we'll usually do for breakfast because they're so quick. But sometimes you gotta be quick for lunches too. So we're enjoying these with some banana, some strawberry, some organic maple syrup, and cinnamon on top. So get ready. This is my favorite recipe. It's delicious. It's a little bit more hands-on, but this is something you can prep and enjoy for the entire week. So these are eggy muffins. It's pretty much like egg bites, but 20 times better than anything you can get anywhere. I have 2 potatoes here. They're yellow. I'm gonna just cut off some of like the really deep welts in them and any bad pieces and grate the rest. And then I'm going to heat up my skillet here. You do have the option of soaking these in salt water to remove some of the starches and then get some of that liquid out, but I was like, I just don't have time. I'm gonna put this right into my buttered cast iron pan and cook it for quite a while, sometimes even up to 20 minutes, half an hour, to reduce a lot of the moisture throughout the potato. And then it also just gives it a nice browning, which I enjoy. Really go ahead, scrape up the bottom there. If you feel like it's not all coming off, don't worry, because what we're going to do is move the potatoes into, it can be a container, another area. I'm just moving mine over into another cast iron pan, and into that one I'm going to cook up bacon and onion. I can't say I have an official recipe here. It really is just kind of by feel, but usually I will shoot for about 10 eggs, which, here's the thing, eggs for us are gold. We get our eggs from a local farm down the road, as well as our milk, and it's awesome. It's delicious. We're getting fresh eggs, and the fact that it's local just makes it that much better. So we always get probably 60 eggs every single week and go through them quite quickly. To the blender, I'm also gonna add in about half a cup of goat cheese. You can use any cheese you like, but I really like goat cheese in here because it makes the egg very fluffy and flavorful. Put your potato in as well, and the whole method of doing this is that you are not over blending. You're just putting it in to combine and then stop. You can see how quick I'm going. I'm adding in the onion and the bacon as well here, and then I realized I do have some frozen greens that I'm going to take advantage of and put them into these as well, because my kids enjoy eating these. So this is a great way I can actually get some veggies into their little bodies, because guess what? My kids are pretty picky eaters, but at the same time, they love broccoli. So that's a win. I take that as a win. I'm going to put it into a bowl because sometimes I notice that the bacon and such can really fall to the bottom of the blender if you just pour it. So I put it in a bowl, use a ladle, and I'm gonna put it into these silicone muffin containers. You do not have to butter them, but I did just to make sure they don't stick at all. I'm putting them onto a cookie sheet. I think one of you on my Patreon told me, Sarah, you should be putting those onto a cookie sheet. It makes it so much better to handle, and you were so right. I am going to bake these at 375 for about 22 to 25 minutes. You will know they're ready when they start puffing up. My favorite way to have these is just by themselves. You can store them in a container in the fridge, and then whenever you're ready to eat, pop them into the microwave. It takes about 20-30 seconds for mine to totally heat up, and they are delicious, packed with flavor, good stuff in there for you, and honestly, they're gone so quickly in this house. Okay, this is my last recipe. These are blender muffins. I really like having eggs, bacon, and muffins in the morning. It feels fancy, and these are gluten-free and dairy-free as well. So you're gonna need 3 bananas, the bigger the better, and the more ripe, the sweeter. So 3 bananas, 2 eggs, put them into your blender, and you can add in any type of nut butter you like. I'm gonna do a 1/4 cup of natural unsweetened peanut butter, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1/3 cup of organic maple syrup, which is just my favorite. I really enjoy maple syrup. Maybe it's the Canadian in me, but I just love that warm amber taste. I'm gonna add in a little bit of vanilla as well, and then 2 1/4 cups of oats. You can use gluten-free oats here. I'm using gluten-free. 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Blend this up till it is nice and smooth. I like it very smooth because the oats are really acting as our flour, and I want to not have too much of a grit in this, I'm gonna add in about 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. I'm gonna blend until pretty much just combined because I don't want my chocolate chips to break down in the batter. And then I'm gonna put them into my silicone muffin trays. I did grease these and then just bake them at 350 for 30 minutes. This made 12, usually, or 11. Usually it makes 12, but I was using smaller bananas and was running out of olive oil. So I have a little bit less here, but I am gonna sprinkle some oats on top because that's pretty, as well as some chocolate chips. These in the fridge, and whenever I want one, I heat it up and put some butter on them, and they are just lovely. So that is today's video. Thank you so much for joining me. P.S. The best way to clean your blender is to fill it with some nice soapy water and run it for a little while. It's gonna loosen everything and make it so much easier to clean. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. I'm literally living in a dream world, and I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you all later. Bye.